Hampton, Virginia is home to one of the most flat racetracks that we'll find on iRacing, or really in the world at all. Langley Speedway, Larry King Law's Langley Speedway to be exact, ready for action round 10 of Advanced Legends this season. And qualifying's already over, so we're going to kind of hustle this along as drivers got ready a lot more quickly than we expected, but glad to have Zach Murtis back on the call with me this evening as we visit you from Hampton, Virginia. Virginia Beach nearby, fantastic piece of the country to go visit. I've had the pleasure to be able to do so once or twice before. It is just stunning area of the country, really. Let's bring into the sim. Here we go. This is all very much on the fly. This happened very quickly. These drivers actually qualified in an instant for once. And, well, you see Langley Speedway on track as, well, cars are rolling on track, I should say. Zach, good to have you back. I know we've kind of had a little bit of inconsistency there. I'm glad to have you, hopefully, for these last few weeks of this season. Let's quickly talk about Langley Speedway. The lap record here in a Legend car, a 16.411, set by Joel Smith of Payne Built Legends. How about the point standings for this season? Parker Retzlaff now leading the way in car number, well, is he here tonight? He is in car 1. He'll start from 5th. We'll talk about that in a moment. Daniel Folds now 2nd. They are somewhat broken away for this championship, but we'll see things change, I think, between this week and next. We'll talk more about that later. Let's talk about the grid for tonight, because Kyle Meyer puts himself on pole in car 10. Daniel Folds will start from 2nd. Starting 3rd, it's Martin Gatzulis. Blake Maskill will start from 4th tonight. It's Parker Retzlaff in 5th position. Tyler Payne from 6th. Cullen Roberts will start from 7th. Kyle Terzak there from the 8th position. Jacob Derrick from 9th. And Chase Sylvia rounds out the top 10 before we have Jason Durant-Walker, Pete Jones, Evan Roy, and Matthew Boniface. Already down to turns 3 and 4. We have got cars ready to go racing this evening from Langley Speedway. We do things quick here, and we are green flag from Langley. Lap 1, quickly complete. We love clean lap 1s here in the Advanced Legends series. Parker Retzlaff fighting to the inside of Daniel Folds. A solid fight between those two as they'll battle for 2nd. One car sideways in the back. It looks like they check up a little bit. Jason Durant-Walker very far off pace, but everybody else continues on.
Parker Retzlaff actually passed Daniel Folds to take away that 2nd spot, and that's definitely going to help him with the points being 25 points ahead of Daniel Folds, and he is just looking to pounce. They are all single filed out. I believe the whole top 5 is single file.
Most of the field is. There's only one side-by-side back there around the 8th position, and that's Kyle Terzak on the inside of Tyler Payne as they do battle there for the 8th, now 9th position, as Tyler Payne going to recognize where he's at in this whole deal and just falling behind Chase Sylvia. Now Tyler drops to 10th, Chase up to 9th as Jacob Derrick looks at a side-by-side between Cullen Roberts and Blake Maskill. Maskill, the advancing driver on the bottom side in the orange number 10, and he will take that spot away as Roberts now will move further back. He drops in behind Jacob Derrick.
One thing people need to remember about Langley, it's just...
And we've had a lead change, by the way. I don't want to miss this. Kyle Meyer fell back to 4th position that last lap, maybe the lap prior. It's now Retzlaff up to point. And look at Gatzulis out of shape out of turn number 2, and he's falling back quickly.
It is dropping on that outside line. He's just going to get freight trained. He's going to lose maybe another 3-4 spots if he can't find a way in.
He's trying to find some kind of decent racetrack. There goes the 13 of Terzak on the inside. And finally, Gatzulis will settle into the 8th position. Meanwhile, Boniface and Pete Jones, they do battle for 12th and 13th. Jason Durant-Walker hanging on in 14th. Evan Roy with the lead pack. So we did miss that pass for the lead initially, but you can now see the top 2 fight, the top 2 in the standings in that order. Retzlaff and Folds doing battle at Langley.
Folds is not letting Retzlaff get away. He is still right there in his tire tracks, and Kyle Meyer just went purple. Actually, Kyle Terzak just went purple.
Some fast laps out of the Kyles there on lap number 8. Daniel Folds, though, right on that yellow line, trying to find some speed here on Parker Retzlaff.
Oh, Retzlaff ran a little bit wide coming out of 2. Oh, he scrapes the wall a little bit on the back straightaway as Massengale goes purple.
Massengale with the new fast lap. You can see the entire field spreading out as they're all single file behind these two out front. Retzlaff that time fastest as he pulls the advantage on Daniel Folds. You're looking at the fight for third.
Meyer is just sitting, waiting for something that could potentially happen, but I think Folds and Retzlaff are just too far spaced out for anything really to, you know, nothing's going to happen between the two of them. He's waiting for one of them to make a mistake at this point. Ooh, did you see that little wiggle there, Andrew?
Kyle Meyer at the racetrack. Massengill goes on through. Now Jacob Derrick an opportunity, and he will take that opportunity and move on by. That is good now for the fourth position for car number 8, ahead of car number 88. And that's important. Kyle Meyer started on pole, and boy, is he struggling as this race goes on.
Just one little mistake can cost you dearly, and he just lost 2 positions as Retzlaff goes purple again. These guys are really putting on a show, but I think Folds is closing that gap a little bit.
Daniel Folds, in second place, starting to chip into that race lead, it looks like, just ever so slightly on Parker Retzlaff. Now, we talked about the standings. Let's ride on board with Daniel Folds and talk about these a little bit more. 25 points, that's the gap as we enter week number 10. And Massengill in third, he actually just had a big misstep and fell back to 5th place once more. But Massengill, I think he's in range where he could do something. Joel Smith as well, but I don't see Joel Smith in this SOF race tonight, so I'd count that out, actually. He would need a lot of points in very few weeks to move up and fight for this championship now. Realistically, we're talking about Retzlaff and Folds, and they're in a very precarious position where drop weeks have come back in and have even these two back out. Folds actually took a big advantage at one point before drop weeks came in, before we hit our 8 race limit on what is counted for a driver. So now they're trying to go perfect. And if you're familiar with the NX point scale, it's very similar, Zach, where you're basically racing for your perfect 20 races in the NX point system. Here you're racing for your perfect 8.
Yeah, it can be such a tight race when it comes to the points championships. I believe some of the drivers who usually compete, like Joel Smith in the U.S. Legend Cars in the iNext series, I believe he's at Winter Nationals this week, so he's not going to be able to be in attendance.
At Citrus County Speedway. So we wish him the best of luck. A former Payne, or not former, but fellow Payne-built Legends driver. As well, there goes Payne himself. Tyler Payne now up to 7th. He's making quick work of some of these drivers in the midfield, including one of his own in Martin Gatzulis. And even Blake Massengill back to 9th position now. He is really struggling as this race wears on. But Payne here working on Cullen Roberts for 6th. On board.
You can see these guys, they just dipped those tires right there on the yellow line. Payne got a really good run. He's going to take that look down to the bottom. And they are going to go side by side through turn 4. Yeah, he is just rotating so much better. It's just more the matter of you need to be able to get that run off these corners. Being on the inside, it makes it difficult to get the power down because you've got a car on your outside, but he is doing beautifully trying to take that 5th spot away.
And right there, he's finally got it. Beautiful racing here from Tyler Payne, getting on by Cullen Roberts. That is good for 6th, but he's got a few more cars to go through here and quite a ways to get to the next one. I think Roberts could easily fight back potentially from car 27 as Tyler Payne now sets his sights on Kyle Terzak in the 5th position. Kyle Meyer is ahead of Terzak and on up the road. But Blake Massengill, boy, is he struggling tonight. This is very odd for car 10. He's been so good this season. 3rd place in the standings, so consistent. Usually right there with Daniel Folds. I wonder if these two made separate adjustments to their setup and did something slightly different, and now Massengill is just sliding back like this. I wonder if it's setup related.
Just something related to the short run, honestly. Lots of guys like to set their cars up for the short run. They expect a lot of cautions. Other guys like to set them up for the long run, expecting less cautions. And we spent more than half this race under the green flag, so maybe he's just struggling on those setup adjustments.
Well, so far it's the entire race under green flag, but yes, we're more than halfway through already. Weather conditions for this race, didn't even get a chance to talk about it. It is rather warm, especially for a February day. 87 degrees in the air, 89 degrees on track, a warm Legend Car race. A little more tire wear out there. That might work in the favor of guys like Tyler Payne and some of the others that are coming from the back of the field and saved things a little bit earlier. It could even work here for Daniel Folds as he has reeled the 2 car in.
Yes, Retzlaff just ran really, really wide coming off of turn 2, and Folds closed almost a 0.2 of a second gap. And now he's just sitting back there waiting for something to happen again. And I think we have a wreck on the speedway.
We do finally have a caution. Unfortunately, it's Daniel's teammate in Blake Massengill. And that 10 car is definitely torn up. That's in turns 1 and 2.
It's unfortunate for Massengale. He was just struggling, and way to pretty much put the cherry on top of the cake.
A really odd race for Blake today. And unfortunately, I don't think we'll be talking to him post-race, but here's a look at it. Got loose out of turn 4, slammed to the outside wall, and just carries that down to turn 1. Oh my God, I don't know how you get hit that late. Wow.
You have to see the wreck happening in front of you.
He got hit a ton, too. It wasn't a light tap or just a glancing blow. That was really, really big. Another look at it here. This is at a turn 2, the lap prior, kind of leading up to. You can see Gonzalez battling there with Cullen Roberts. And then out of turn 4, the 10 just steps out and slams the wall. And then, wow.
Yikes.
I think that was
Matthew
Boniface.
He could have walked away, and then all of a sudden just...
I don't know if he would have driven away from that with any kind of competitive car still. He hit the wall really hard. It's like it took off on him once he tried to get it corrected, and then...
I think Matthew Boniface was thinking maybe he's just going to stay up there and I can run my line, and then he came back down going into the corner and he was already committed to the line. It's just such a touchy thing, really. I'm
not sure. Definitely love Matthew Boniface in his own right. We see him a lot now on Pit Stop TV with all the legend car racing we have, but I have no explanation for that one, unfortunately. Hey, that happens sometimes. Nobody's perfect behind the wheel of a race car. I can definitely say I've had my fair share of blunders on iRacing, and everybody will. That's part of it. As we actually have an Australian in the field, Bowman Fan 48. That's an interesting name for an Australian, but glad to have you watching nonetheless. Yeah, glad to have everybody watching this evening on Pit Stop TV. The schedule for this season on screen now. We started way back at USA International Speedway on December 12th. Irwindale, Atlanta, Hickory, Oxford, Southern National, Las Vegas, South Boston, Lanier, and now we're here at Langley for round number 10. We're coming to the green flag this time to get this race back underway. And just like that, green flag back out. Look at that fight. The Kyle's at it. Got Zulis right behind him, and now Tyler Payne headed backwards quickly. He was in an even-numbered position for the restart, and boy, does it show. He's back to 8th, fighting for 9th, and he's going to lose that 8th spot and fall to the 9th spot. As now Gatzulis goes to the inside of his PBL teammate, and Kyle Meyer. Meyer going to slide into 5th. No, 6th.
They all quickly just got single-filed out as we're coming up on 6 laps to go. Only a few side-by-side fights. We got one car sideways on the front stretch.
Oh, Pete Jones, and that gets into Sylvia. Good catch there from Chase Sylvia up front. We're coming to 5 laps to go this time, Zach. It's Daniel Folds hounding Retzlaff, but Jacob Derrick is not too far back.
He's just waiting for some mistake to happen. I don't know if he's going to have anything for them. Before we got to the caution flag, the top 2 were 2 seconds in front of the rest of the field. I think this is going to be down to Folds and Retzlaff.
But if one of them makes a mistake, if they both make a mistake potentially, that 8 car is there and ready. 4 laps to go, that time by.
Do we see Folds maybe try the old bump and run we like to see at the summer shootout sometimes?
It's one of the few ways we actually can pass here at Langley. There are not many options, and when it comes down to a championship, I think if I'm Daniel Folds, I certainly would. We've even seen Parker Retzlaff use the bumper for wins this season back in Atlanta on the 26 car.
Folds is right there. He's really close. I don't see him either trying to find a way to cleanly pass him or bump him. Unless Retzlaff makes another mistake off of 2 or 4, it might be his race unless Folds decides to use the bumper. We got 2 laps to go, Andrew. Daniel
Folds getting closer and closer. That time, though, Retzlaff, a really good corner exit out of turn number 2. It'll be the white flag this time presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go.
He rotated so well through turn 4. He is right there on the bumper.
It's going to be closed down in turn 3. Does Folds use the bumper? Does he risk his safety rating, rather? He sails it into turn 3, but not nearly hard enough to get to the back end of the 2 car. Checkered flag at Langley, and it goes to Retzlaff. How many times have we said that this season?
Quite a few.
That's for sure. 37 laps led. Nearly a perfect race for Retzlaff. Just could have qualified a little bit better. He has just been way, way too good this season. So good. And he'll alt F4. But Parker Retzlaff with a big win this evening. That does make a statement, believe it or not. That is one more race that he has now outscored Daniel Folds. And depending on what the drops do, he's only going to extend that point gap.
Just an incredibly dominant race. He led it almost flag to flag, and Folds put up a really good fight. He stayed within a good margin to Parker Retzlaff, but ultimately he wasn't going to be able to get it done. Just wasn't close enough to put the bumper to him.
Let's take a look at the unofficial race results this evening from Langley. Retzlaff out front, far and away. Started 5th, finished 1st, 37 laps led. Daniel Folds drops to, takes 2nd this evening. Jacob Derrick in the 3rd spot. Kyle Terzak, Martin Gattenzulis, your top 5. Kyle Meyer there in 6th. Cullen Roberts, Evan Roy, Matthew Boniface. And somehow Tyler Payne dropped all the way to 10th on that short run. He started on the top side on that restart and got freight trained. And that is a sour one, I think, for Tyler to have to swallow. But at the same time, what else is he probably racing for? He's not in the championship fight, unfortunately, this season, so he's probably also racing just to keep his I rating up, safety rating up, all of that. Does not want to tear the car up, and obviously wants to carry the PBL brand in a good fashion. I think he just wanted to calmly come to the checkers there, and that's what he did. Pete Jones will finish 11th tonight. Jason Durant-Walker there in 12th. Chase Sylvia, 13th, and a rare DNF for Blake Massengill. That is massive in the SOF race this week. I don't know that we set any SOF records, so maybe a little better to have it this week than some weeks where we have set those SOF records, but still not at all ideal. We do have, it looks like, 2 drivers to talk to us tonight. Daniel Folds and Jacob Derrick both ready to go, and, well, Daniel Folds, I talk to this guy a lot now, but tonight it's not for a race win. Daniel, where could you guys have been better?
Yeah, we just got a little tight on after that restart. Felt like I was running down Parker a little bit right before that caution, and the tires just didn't fire off like I needed them to. It was a little tight exit. I just couldn't try to put a move on them.
Could you have gotten to the back end of that 2 car?
Maybe. I think if it had gone green, I would have had a really good shot at it. With that caution and the heat cycle on the tires, we were pretty much dead even there on that last run.
Now, what does this mean as far as the championship battle for you? Obviously, you're going toe-to-toe with Parker Retzlaff. 3 rounds left to go as of tonight, and you still have, a whole week of racing here with 3 rounds to go. What do you do this week to try and, outscore the 2 car now and hopefully better your chances?
Yeah, it's going to be a dogfight to the end of the season here. Me and Parker, we've had some clean races this year, or this season, I should say. It's just it's one of those things, he'll get some, I'll get some, and it's just going to be a battle to the end.
There you go, Daniel Folds from P2 tonight. Hopefully next week for your case anyways, it's P1 when we go to 5 flags. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Daniel Folds with a P2 tonight. Really needed that win. We'll see what he's able to do the rest of this week and how points sort out for next week at 5 flags. But Jacob Derrick will go P3 tonight, and he's in the waiting room.
Yeah, Jacob Derrick was just kind of sitting there waiting to see if something would happen, but ultimately coming away with a 3rd place finish. Just kind of walk us through how that race went for you.
It was a good race. I think if I would have qualified up front, I would have been up there with Parker and Daniel. But it was a good race overall. Me and Blake, we passed a bunch of cars. It's just we got too far back from Daniel, and we just killed our stuff.
Gotcha. So even with the caution, do you think maybe you had something for Folds and for Retzlaff if you were able to stay with them there at that last run?
I think I would have, yes. But I knew Daniel was better. So I just let him and Parker go at it. And, yeah.
Well, you're still coming away with a 3rd place finish. That's a good points total for your championship run. And, we've got 5 flags next week. You think you're going to have a better run at 5 flags? You think it's a better suited track for you?
Well, I thought I was going to have a good run here because this is my home track, run here in real life. But I think we'll be solid at 5 flags.
Well, you did great tonight, finishing 3rd, starting 9th. You passed a lot of good cars, and ultimately you're coming away with a good total. So congratulations on your 3rd place run, and we hope to see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So Andrew, that's pretty much everybody we got then, and you know, it's still just a great race.
Langley always provides, and I know some drivers may be looking at the big bump down in turns 1 and 2 and saying, oh, this is maybe going to be a bad race. Maybe these guys are going to struggle in the short run, even the long run, especially with these heightened temperatures. But that was really, really good racing. And I'll be honest, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised at the quality of racing we saw. I know it was a lot of single file, but there is still a lot of finesse to dive into a corner right behind somebody in a Legends car and not hit them. And not get hit, Zach. I mean, it's not easy to run a single file like that for 40 laps and have minimal issue. The only problem we had was a handling problem at a turn 4 where Blake Massengill just lost the car. And that's rare.
Yeah, Massengale's always running up front, and just to see him kind of slip back like that is just out of the ordinary. And you know, it's going to hurt his championship total. Obviously, he's not all the way in it like Massengale, he's not all the way in there like Folds or Retzlaff is. He's a little bit of a ways back, but you know, he can still hold that 3rd place spot over Joel Smith and Narducci and Kyle Meyer and all these other guys that are right down there below him. It's, you know, just having a bad race like that can really kind of mess with your head.
Yeah, hopefully Massengill is able to recuperate from that, but I don't think he's going to lose really much ground in this battle for 3rd place in the standings. Might have lost a long shot attempt at the championship, but I think that's okay for Blake Massengill. He's able to keep working with his teammate Daniel Folds and hopefully propel Daniel Folds into that battle, or for Parker Retzlaff, hopefully Retzlaff is able to hold Daniel Folds off. We're going to have to wait and see. That's going to be a really intriguing fight these last 2 weeks. Retzlaff with a big hit back. In this case, with this win over Daniel Folds tonight at Langley. And, you know, races coming up, it's just 5 Flags and Stafford if you're running 1 race a week. But, of course, these guys can go out and run the next race here in about a half hour. They can run in a couple of hours. They can run tomorrow night at the same time. They have options. And, obviously, with the varying SOF, we'll see how many points they're actually able to earn.
Definitely. You got 2 weeks left. You just got to try to push. If you're super close like Folds is to Retzlaff, I would run almost as many races as you can. I know it's an average amount for the races that you run for the points total that you get for each week, but I mean, 5 Flags and Stafford are 2 great places for Legend cars to go, and I'm excited to see how it's going to roll.
They're big tracks, though. I will say, very big tracks for Legend cars. A half mile for 5 Flags, a half mile for Stafford. Big, fast, really fast tracks. High banked in the case of 5 Flags, yeah. 5 Flags definitely very quick. Not much off throttle time. Stafford, though, is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a bit of a tiptoe, right? You're going to be real fast off into the corners and then have to kind of tiptoe the car around the corner. It's a wide radius, so you can still get a lot of throttle time in it, but it is flat, and it is a tight racing line. I'm intrigued to see how Legend Car Racing will go at Stafford Motor Speedway. I've never seen it myself. I'm just interested. It's going to be interesting. I've never really thought about Legend Cars at Stafford, but that will definitely be an intriguing season finale for us. And even when we close on February the 27th there from Stafford, we will have no clue who's actually winning this championship because of what they could do later in the week. So make sure to keep an eye out on social media. We will update that once we know who's champion and get a post out there, because it will be important, Zach. Very cool to see how this Advanced Legends Cup community is growing. And I want to be candid for a minute, because this community is growing a lot, and I'm trying to put myself in the community because, quite frankly, I love Legend Car Racing. Zach, I know you do too. We both kind of make it our thing in real life more than just here on the sim. And I think this community can go places. So if you are a driver, team member, anything, part of this Legend Car community, reach out to us. Let us know, first of all. Repost these videos, share these broadcasts, whatever. But we want to hear from you. Just kind of opinions on the series, where the series might go. I know Tyler Payne is very much heavily invested in this series as well. Obviously, Payne Built Legends contracts us to do these broadcasts and to bring these to all of you so that you can see what's going on in Advanced Legends Racing here on the sim. And we want to make Advanced Legends Racing a better place on iRacing, a better series, and continue this evolvement and reach for new things. So just in general, hit us up, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you want to, Twitter. The Twitter DMs will always work if that's what works for you. There's plenty of places to contact us, and actually they're at the bottom of the screen. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, even over on Twitch. Reach out, let us hear what you've got to say. There are some upcoming broadcasts, though, up on the channel. And Zach, those are on screen now. First up is the North American Racing League bonus race from February 16th at Road Atlanta. It is a non-points event. It is just for some extra cash, dash for cash, all-star race kind of deal for those guys now that the season is over. So keep an eye out for that at 8:30. I'm sorry, not 8:30 Eastern. I'm not used to having that, but not at that normal time. It'll actually be at 9:45 Eastern. So 9:45 p.m. Eastern this coming Thursday. Then Saturday we have the AIRL, the I'm used to saying Advanced Legends Cup, but the American iRacing League Martin PC Late Model Showdown right back here at Langley Speedway on February 18th this Saturday. You can watch some Xfinity and ARCA racing, and then come check us out for some real short track racing here from Langley. That's going to be a lot of fun with those late model stock cars. Daniel Folds back-to-back the first couple of weeks in that series, and then Sunday we have a brand new series to the channel, the Shake and Bake Racing Butt Kicker Cup Series, brought to you of course by the Butt Kicker. 8 Eastern, Daytona International Speedway season kickoff. It's going to be a partial broadcast schedule for them, but they are running the full NASCAR schedule all 36 weeks. That is one heck of a tour to put yourself on, but we are just doing a partial schedule with those guys. That would be a long, grueling year with them, but glad to join them for their season opener this Sunday, February 19th, which I think will intersect a little bit with the Daytona 500, but we'll make do and go from there. So a lot of great racing coming up here, Zach, and you can see where to follow us on Pit Stop TV right there at the bottom of the screen.
Facebook.com/PitStopTV, Twitter.com/PitStopTV, Instagram.com /pit_stop_TV. I did it right this week. YouTube.com/PitStopTV1. A lot of great places just to follow along, and make sure you follow Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook religiously over the next few weeks if you want to figure out who the champion is here in the PBL, Painbuilt Legends, and it's going to be plastered all over. Like Andrew said, we're not going to know immediately who's going to be our champion. We have to wait till the end of the official season on iRacing to be able to check that out, but you can see it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all over the place when we figure out who is going to be our champion for this series.
Yeah, it'll be posted likely at the start of week 13 once those stats finalize. We'll get an idea, I think, by the weekend going into March, but we're going to wait until it's officially official. Might even have a points update out there. Who knows? We'll see. We'll play it by ear, but we'll make sure that if you are invested in Legend Car Racing, just like we are, you will know who wins this championship. In other news, we mentioned Joel Smith briefly. Not that we have to at all, but Joel Smith, best of luck to you this week down at Citrus County, and anybody else who is watching that is racing down there this week for Winter Nationals. Best of luck to you guys. I wish I was there this year. I was there a couple of years ago at Auburndale Speedway. Didn't quite make it last year. Didn't quite make it this year. But hopefully 2024, I'm back down at Winter Nationals. That would be a lot of fun. Otherwise, again, just best of luck to all of you guys that are racing down at Citrus this week. That'll do it for us, Zach. Any closing comments, I suppose? Final thoughts here from Langley.
Happy to go to Five Flags next week. I'm ready to see what that has in store, and I'm excited for Stafford too. That's one big track that I've really wanted to see Legend Cars race on a little bit more when it comes to iRacing. But as for Langley tonight, that was just a great race, and it just plays so well into the rest of the schedule that we had. We started off real strong with a lot of good tracks, and now we're ending really strong with a lot of good tracks that really suit the Legend Cars. And then obviously we're going into the two last races that are just super speedway-like for these cars. Higher speeds are, well, in a sense, not necessarily the best for Legend Cars in real life, but on the sim, you can pretty much go ham with these things. So, seeing a lot of good racing tonight at Langley just has me super excited for what's coming up in the next 2 weeks.
I don't think there's been a bad track yet this season. I really don't. I don't think there's a bad track anywhere in this lineup. So props to whoever made this schedule. Hopefully we get a an equally good schedule for 2023 season number 2 that will start in March. But once again, thank you so much for watching. A big thank you to our partners here at the channel, Whiplash Media SimCams, bringing you the sights here of what we're looking at and all the cameras we saw this evening, as well as the simrepmarket.com, where you can use promo code PSTV for 10% off of your order, and Short Track Weekly here at Pit Stop TV. A big shout out as well to Elite Performance Industries, Tyler Payne, Payne Built Legends, RaceUPI.com, that whole bunch. They all do so much for sim short track racing, and especially this Legend Car Racing here. Payne Built Legends is a fantastic job, and if you do want to get as a driver into Legend Car Racing on the sim, 100% start at Payne Built Legends. There's nowhere else I think that you should go, and that's not just because they'd like us to say that. Genuinely, I've never seen somebody so devoted to Legend Car Racing like Tyler Payne, and that goes for myself and people I've seen in the real industry. Tyler Payne is here for Legend Car Racing and is really doing a ton of work on and off the sim for Legend Car Racing as a whole, so I can't wait to see where things go. But that will do it for us this evening from Langley Speedway. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV. Zach Murders joining me on the call this evening. Finally, you're back in the seat. Hopefully you're back for the rest of the season, Zach. But it was a good one as always. We'll see you next week. It's Five Flag Speedway. Otherwise, we'll see you for one of the shows in between. We've got the North American Racing League bonus race this Thursday from Road Atlanta.